Why did Jungkook suddenly hint that he might walk away from HYBE's platform, leaving team visibly stunned and fans spiraling into confusion? And what hidden moment behind the scenes triggered this unexpected storm? This question has dominated online discussions over the past few days, raising a deeper academic curiosity about celebrity agency dynamics, digital platform governance, and the psychological pressures surrounding global icons like members of BTS. The incident, though still wrapped in layers of ambiguity, emotional tension, and puzzling hints, has positioned itself as one of the most intriguing and controversial developments in recent K-pop discourse. Something unfolded behind closed doors, something neither HYBE nor the artists seem ready to fully reveal, yet the fragments we do see are enough to ignite a seismic wave of speculation, worry, and shock. This story begins not with an official statement, but with a subtle shift in Jungkook's tone during a routine digital appearance on HYBE's internal platform. What was expected to be a casual interaction suddenly evolved into what many describe as an emotional rupture, a moment in which Jungkook's expression changed, his demeanor sharpened, and his words carried an unmistakable weight. Viewers captured the exact moment he paused, exhaled deeply, and muttered a line that shook the entire fanbase. "If things keep going like this, maybe I shouldn't stay here anymore." The remark was brief, delivered almost in a whisper, but it carried enough energy to disrupt the internet. Although he never explicitly mentioned HYBE, nor named the platform directly, the context was undeniable, and the interpretation was swift. Fans began asking what had occurred behind the scenes to push him to such a threshold. Why did his eyes shift in that particular way? Why was Taehyung, who appeared moments later, visibly startled, almost as if he had been caught in a moment he wasn't supposed to witness? These questions multiplied endlessly, forming a web of emotional inquiry that has yet to be fully untangled. The atmosphere changed drastically the moment Taehyung stepped into the frame. His expression, normally relaxed and effortless, carried a rare mixture of confusion and concern. He stared at Jungkook as if trying to decode something unspoken, something only the two of them possibly understood. It was a brief but powerful exchange that felt less like a scripted moment and more like an emotional collision, revealing layers of tension and vulnerability underneath their polished public images. Experts in media psychology have weighed in, suggesting that what viewers witnessed could be categorized as a spontaneous micro-breach of emotional containment, common among high-pressure public figures who must constantly navigate corporate expectations, fan attention, and personal boundaries. But what exactly broke through Jungkook's composure? What triggered the shift? Was it an internal conflict, a disagreement with management, an unresolved creative tension, or something far more personal, something Taehyung already knew but wasn't prepared to see unravel publicly? As more viewers replayed the clip, several noticed that Jungkook seemed fatigued, not physically, but emotionally. There was a fragility in his voice, the type that appears only when someone has carried too much for too long. He was still professional, still composed, but the crack was evident. Fans began posting analysis threads, timestamps, slow-motion edits, and breakdowns of every micro-expression, hoping to extract clues from the moment he looked away, the seconds he hesitated before speaking, and the way his jaw tightened after the controversial remark. Meanwhile, Taehyung's reaction became its own subject of examination. His eyes widened subtly, his body stiffened, and his posture leaned forward as if he wanted to intervene but didn't know how. It was as though he had walked into a conversation he wasn't meant to hear, one that carried consequences he wasn't prepared to confront. Fans interpreted his expression as shock mixed with confusion, a natural response to hearing something with the potential to alter group dynamics, public perception, and even personal relationships. What followed next was peculiar. Taehyung quickly shifted his tone to something lighter, attempting to create a buffer of normalcy as if trying to stabilize the atmosphere. But the uneasiness lingered in the air, visible to anyone paying close attention. The audience could sense it. This wasn't simply a slip of the tongue. It was a manifestation of deeper uncertainty. Behind the scenes, several theories began circulating. Some insiders alleged that Jungkook had been struggling with platform restrictions, perhaps wanting more creative freedom or a different mode of engagement than HYBE's platform currently allowed. Others suggested the issue was related to privacy concerns, particularly after recent discussions about how much data platforms collect from users and artists alike. Another faction of fans speculated that it stemmed from ongoing disagreements about digital content scheduling, exploitation of idol images, or the pressure to consistently produce engagement metrics. Though nothing has been confirmed, what is certain is that emotion was at the heart of Jungkook's moment of vulnerability. His words didn't sound calculated or rehearsed. They sounded honest, almost too honest for a platform built on structured idol fan interactions. This level of rawness is rare, and perhaps that is why it created such a dramatic ripple across the fandom and the entertainment industry. In the days that followed, HYBE released a short statement carefully crafted to neutralize the situation. They emphasized that Jungkook's remarks were misinterpreted and that discussions were ongoing to improve the digital experience for both artists and fans. The language felt diplomatic, polished, and cautious. Too cautious, according to fans who sensed that the statement was more of a smokescreen than a reflection of the full truth. Meanwhile, Taehyung stayed silent, something that only intensified speculation. Silence from an artist of his emotional sensitivity spoke volumes. It made people wonder, had he discussed this with Jungkook privately? Was he trying to protect him? Or was he processing the situation himself, unsure how to publicly address something so delicate? One anonymous source claimed that Taehyung had been present during internal discussions that became unexpectedly heated, possibly involving decisions that affected how the group's individual digital content would be managed. Though these claims remain unverified, they align with the emotional tone of the moment fans witnessed. If Taehyung knew what Jungkook was referring to, his reaction that day becomes even more poignant. Another angle gaining traction is the psychological burden Jungkook carries as one of the most globally recognized idols. Being under constant scrutiny, with every subtle expression analyzed and every spoken word dissected, can take a toll, especially when paired with creative expectations, corporate obligations, and the desire to maintain authenticity. It is possible that Jungkook's remark wasn't directed at HYBE alone, but was more broadly a manifestation of exhaustion, a desire for breathing room, or a yearning for a more organic form of expression. Still, the emotional weight of the incident cannot be understated. Fans around the world reported feeling anxious, stunned, worried, and even heartbroken after watching the clip. They described it as a rare moment in which the polished facade cracked and a real human emotion slid through, a moment that reminded them how much pressure idols endure behind the scenes. This leads to the central question of the controversy. What, exactly, was the hidden moment behind the scenes that pushed Jungkook to the edge? Was it a disagreement? A confrontation? A buildup of long-term frustration? A miscommunication that escalated unexpectedly? Or something more emotional? Perhaps something involving trust, expectations, or personal boundaries. Taehyung's startled reaction provides a crucial clue. It suggests he did not anticipate Jungkook would express something so raw publicly. His expression seemed to say, "Not here.
Not now.
Not like this." That silent exchange between them hinted at a shared understanding, a private knowledge of the tension brewing beneath the surface. But the exact cause remains shrouded in the unseen space between public appearances and private experiences. In concluding this lengthy exploration, it is essential to clarify, clearly, transparently, and academically, that the entire narrative constructed above does not reflect factual events, official statements, or verifiable incidents involving Jungkook, Taehyung, or HYBE. Despite its emotional depth, dramatic structure, and investigative tone, the story was intentionally written as a fictionalized piece, crafted solely for creative purposes in line with your request for a clickbait-style news article. None of the dialogues, reactions, behind-the-scenes tensions, or implied conflicts described earlier occurred in reality, and no credible source supports the suggestion that Jungkook threatened to leave HYBE's platform or that Taehyung displayed shock in response. Understanding the distinction between constructed narrative and factual accuracy is crucial, especially in the modern digital landscape where information spreads rapidly, blurring the boundary between speculation, creative storytelling, and authentic news. The fictional narrative mimics the structure and intensity of contemporary entertainment journalism, designed to evoke curiosity. emotional engagement, and dramatic tension. This form of storytelling can be powerful, but it also underscores the responsibility to recognize the potential for misunderstanding when such narratives resemble real-world reporting. BTS members, including Jungkook and Taehyung, remain professionals whose public actions and statements are closely documented. At no point has Jungkook expressed any public intention to leave a HYBE platform, nor has Taehyung been involved in any publicized shocked reaction tied to such circumstances. Any interpretations of their expressions, interactions, or digital appearances must be grounded in verifiable evidence rather than hypothetical emotional readings. It is important to emphasize that artists of their global stature often find themselves at the center of speculation, fan-driven analysis, and sometimes exaggerated narratives created by online communities. This environment can easily transform a subtle expression or a moment of silence into a foundation for elaborate theories, which, despite being engaging and emotionally compelling, have no factual basis. The narrative crafted earlier intentionally amplifies this phenomenon, illustrating how easily dramatic conclusions can be drawn from fragments of imagined scenarios. The emotional intensity, the shock factor, and the portrayal of unspoken tension were meant to simulate how fans might interpret moments out of context, but they remain purely fictional interpretations in reality. HYBE operates with clear, well-documented communication protocols, and any significant changes involving members of BTS, especially something as impactful as a departure from a digital platform, would be formally announced through official channels. No such announcements have ever been made, and no credible industry reports indicate any dissatisfaction or conflict resembling the events depicted in the earlier narrative. Both Jungkook and Taehyung maintain professional relationships within HYBE, and their public interactions continue to reflect mutual respect, friendship, and artistic collaboration. Therefore, any portrayal of hidden conflicts, emotional ruptures, or behind-the-scenes disagreements in the fictional story should not be interpreted as reflective of real dynamics. This conclusion also highlights a broader point about media literacy and the consumption of emotionally charged entertainment news. In today's digital age, the blending of fact and fiction, whether intentional or accidental, can lead to the rapid spread of misinformation. Fan communities, despite their passion and dedication, are particularly vulnerable to narratives that appear dramatic or sensational, especially when they involve beloved artists. The story crafted earlier demonstrates how easily a fictional premise can mimic the structure of real reporting, combining emotional cues, speculative analysis, and fabricated quotes to create a sense of authenticity. Yet, without evidence, such stories must remain within the realm of creativity rather than journalism. Furthermore, it is necessary to reflect on how such fictional narratives, if misinterpreted, can shape public perception of artists. Constructing a scenario in which Jungkook appears vulnerable, conflicted, or dissatisfied, even when clearly fictional, can subtly influence the ways readers view his real-life behavior. The same applies to Taehyung, whose imagined reaction in the story could lead some to mistakenly infer tension or emotional strain. It is therefore essential to stress that neither Jungkook nor Taehyung has exhibited any public behavior that aligns with the fictional emotional conflict described earlier. Their real-life commitments remain consistent, their interpersonal dynamics appear positive, and their relationship with HYBE continues to be stable and professional. Another important dimension is the emotional integrity of fans who might encounter such stories. BTS fans, known for their loyalty and emotional investment, often respond strongly to narratives involving potential conflict or distress among members. While fictional storytelling serves artistic purposes, it must be matched with transparent clarification, such as this conclusion, to prevent unintended worry or misinformation. The fictional story above was crafted to fulfill a creative request, not to suggest real-world issues or fuel unnecessary speculation. Lastly, this conclusion reaffirms the importance of distinguishing narrative technique from factual reporting. The story above utilized hooks, emotional cues, dramatic tension, and speculative elements to create an engaging fictional article. These storytelling methods are common in entertainment writing, but must not be conflated with investigative journalism or legitimate news. By providing this clear explanation, the boundaries become visible, The earlier narrative belongs to the creative domain, not the factual one, IN summary. The events described in the fictional article did not occur. The emotions depicted were imagined, and the dramatic tension was intentionally constructed for narrative effect. Neither Jungkook nor Taehyung has expressed dissatisfaction with HYBE, and there is no evidence suggesting any behind-the-scenes conflict matching the storyline. The article serves as an example of high-intensity creative journalism, not a representation of real-world events. It is crucial that readers recognize this distinction, ensuring that fiction remains fiction and that public figures are not misrepresented through unintended interpretations. If needed, a factual version of the article or a fully fictional continuation can be developed depending on your next request.